Washington.
Any updates on our side?
Not yet. We're still gathering information, so I don't want to be too quick to speak on something that I don't have all the information on yet.
So you want like an MRI, like still hasn't come back in?
Yeah, we're just waiting on more information.
How much do you anticipate the ones playing, like a mix in the group of receivers, those guys?
Yeah, maybe. In my head, maybe a little bit more than the last game. We'll see. Just kind of wait and see. Kind of you feel out the first quarter. Won't be beyond that. That would be the most they'd play as a quarter for the starters.
Deontay Smith was not out there today. Is there an injury there?
No, he just had a dehydration issue yesterday. Everything's going to be fine. He didn't practice today. There's a chance he doesn't play whenever we play 2 days from now. That would be more of a precautionary thing, but he's going to be fine. It was just a dehydration issue.
Did you not realize? Was that a thing that happened like once he got back into the locker room?
Last night.
Oh,
Last night. Yeah.
Are there any specific position groups you're looking to really see things from in the second preseason game? I know the first one is just kind of how the whole team responds
Yeah.
to this game in particular.
Yeah, I really do feel like every position group, because whether we feel like we got a good group there's still guys you want to see how they respond in these environments. We've got a lot of first and second year players that haven't taken a lot of reps in these games, so that's important. But again, just watching all these big guys compete, offensive line, defensive line. I think that's the one of the primary focuses. But again, I'd be remiss if I left out a position, because there's every position group where we've got our eye on.
Are you planning for Ogunjobi and Allen and Apple to play on Friday?
I'm not I am for Larry Ogunjobi. Larry will play. The guys right now that will not play would be on defense: Eli Apple, Ricardo Allen, Donnie Lewis, as they continue to come back from those hamstrings. Optimistic. They're starting to get more work in, so optimistic for next week. Khalid Kareem and Joseph Asai would be the two D linemen that would be out. And then on offense, Travion Williams continues to go with the hamstring. So we'll leave him here, let him rehab, so that we can maybe get him going next week. And then Deontay Smith would be the other one that we're just kind of wait and see mode.
So you'll get Trey Hopkins in?
I'm going to hold Trey Hopkins out just like Burrow, just because both those guys coming off those surgeries. We're going to give them at least another week.
Have you seen enough from Burrow this week to maybe open the idea of him playing against Miami?
That doesn't really affect his playing time in the preseason. Again, with guys like him, we're just week one. We want to get to that track. But I thought that he's had a really good week this week, really good week last week too. So certainly I feel like offensively, starting with the quarterback position, trending in the right direction with where we want to go. It's part of training camp. Those first couple of weeks, they didn't go as unplanned. You put a lot of things in, and you're working through a lot of different stuff. And really feel like this last week and a half, last 2 weeks, these guys have taken the next step, and we're starting to find a rhythm there.
He'll make the trip, correct?
Yeah, he'll make the trip. Yeah, he and Trey both.
How important is it for Hopkins to get some live reps?
I don't know that it's that important. That he's a veteran lineman. He's taken a lot of plays. He gets good work going against our interior defensive line in practice. You see him; he takes all those reps. So again, we'll still talk through if he's going to play in Game 3 or not. I haven't made the decision on Trey, but he's not one of those guys that you're as concerned about. If he's a younger player coming off an ACL, you probably would want to get him back in there and see how they respond, but not Trey.
Obviously, you knew what you were getting in Chino based on what you saw on the tape, but has he surprised you at all with kind of the production that he's had in camp?
You don't know a guy until you get him in the building. So just his personality and how disciplined he is, how focused he is something I wasn't ready for. I didn't know a lot of people that knew him. We liked the tape. We liked what we've been told. But when you get him in person, he is as impressive as any person I've ever been around. Not only as a person, but his approach to the game. And so you just feel like, man, he's had a tremendous, he's not a surprise, because we anticipated him being a starting corner that plays at a really high level. But just everything he's brought to the team intangibly is a huge bonus. And I'm really excited to have him on the team, and he's done a great job in training camp.
Troy Walters was at Colorado with Chino in the college.
Yeah.
Did he help at all in the first
Yeah.
year?
Yeah, spoke positively of him. Some guys, when you're on the other side of the ball in college and you're only out of college for 1 or 2 years, you're careful to speak on people because you don't always know. Trust me. But Troy, as I was answering that question, Troy was one of the guys that had been with him and had good things to say about him.
Jaquez obviously got some extended work the other night.
I missed who you said.
Jaquez.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had a good camp last year. We've seen in the preseason. Did that open your eyes even a little more to what he was able to do in real game competition?
That was what we expected. I think we all saw the same thing last year. You guys saw him as much as I did in the scrimmage that we had, in the day that he had. And so I can't say that I was surprised with what he did. Again, he's a detailed guy. It's important to him. You're happy when a guy gets to go in finally after 2 years. I think his last game was an XFL game, however many springs ago. So you're happy for guys like that go in and get success, and he'll get plenty more opportunities, especially with Travion being out and us limiting Joe and Samaje. He and Chris are going to get all the work.
Can he play special teams, Jack West?
Yes, he can. Yeah.
You seen Jamar take the next step, and what is that next step for?
Yeah, I think it's starting to slow down. The schematic part of it. We got everything in. He understands what we're asking of him. You start to see improvement from him every single day. This makes more sense, and then the next day that makes more sense. And so again, he's. I think you've seen him making more plays here these last couple of days, and that's what we expected. We still have three weeks from the first game. We're 3 weeks from the start of training camp. We're right on pace with where we thought we'd be with him.
Coach, the last time the last time Burrow was here, he expressed that he wasn't really quite confident. Seems to be like a different guy ever since. Can you talk about his progression, like in the last week?
Yeah, I'll let him speak for himself on how he feels. But just as a coach, I see the guy that's in full command and has been playing at a really high level, particularly these last 2 weeks. And I'm excited about what I see. It's not unexpected. But again, he looks to be feeling well. But again, I'll let him speak on how he feels and all that stuff.
How do you think he looks in the pocket compared to
Pretty good. Pretty good. You guys have seen him move around and scramble and get some good plays, and he's got good speed. And I'm encouraged with where he's at right now.
Sorry, Coach.
I'm encouraged with where he's at. I think he looks good moving around. Yeah, he's done a nice job.
How much is it also kind of a testament to your guys' relationships that you guys have formed as coaches with him to be able to talk through it all in that first week and come to the point that you're at now? You kind of look back on that as kind of a big deal for all of you guys as the way you work together?
Yeah, and that's not just Joe. I think that's important for all of our players. As I get to know some of these new guys, I want them to come tell me how they're feeling. Hey, Coach, this is kind of new to me, being in this new organization. You guys do it this way, and I'm not quite used to that yet. And I want to encourage that. I think over this week, guys have started to understand that, and they're getting more comfortable. I want to know how they're feeling, and I want to know how they're reacting. I am the head coach. We're going to make the ultimate decisions there. But those have been really proactive conversations with guys coming off of injuries, guys that are new to the club. And that's the progress we want to make as an organization. We want that culture established to where we care about you. This is just old school. We're going to tell you what to do. You're going to do it. We want to understand you better as a person, how you react to certain things. And that's what really has been fun, particularly these last couple of weeks, getting to know a lot of the new guys and having those conversations with guys coming off of injury.
Do you get a sense that some guys do come into the NFL hesitant about that, and maybe from whether past history or
Sure.
just whatever?
Sure, and that could be for a variety of reasons. That could be just their personality. That could be where they came from. That could just be one bad experience or good experience they've had in their past. So I can't speak for those guys, but yeah, I'm sure there's a lot that factors into that.
What kind of camp has DJ been for you?
DJ? Good. I thought DJ has done a great job. DJ is one of those guys I love talking to just about life and ball, and he's really mature. He's a pro. He's a leader. He sets the standard for us with the way he approaches things. And so I think that he's well on his way to having a great training camp.
Jamal has had some drops. Is there any concern there?
No, I'm not concerned about that. We want him to catch the football. There's no question about that. But again, I just want to see progress every day in all areas. And I have seen him make progress as a receiver for what we're looking for. And again, it's we don't want to drop the football, but he's starting to make more plays for us, and we're heading in the right direction there.
He described it as like a reaction time thing to just having a year off. How do you get that back?
Yeah, reps, experience, just being out there every single day. And again, there are guys who haven't played football in a year, and that's going to happen across the league this year with a lot of young players. And so it's just, again, that's where the communication is important. Talking to Jamar one-on-one and just, hey, here's our expectation. Here's where you were yesterday. Here's the expectation for tomorrow. Let's make the next step. And he has done a great job responding to that. And it's not perfect. Our standard is a 10. We're not there yet. But again, I'm encouraged with all the conversations and the progress that he makes from day to day.
You were talking about communication. You were talking about communication. You seem to have a moment like that after practice yesterday, where you told them that the first part of practice wasn't that good, and then you had the leaders come in and kind of echo you. So is that kind of what you're talking about, having a feel for these guys?
Yeah. I didn't stay for that meeting, so I don't know what was said after I left. I let them have their moments.
I think
But
you started it, though.
yeah. I mean, yesterday there was a lot of good, and there was some bad. And again, our standards got to be higher when we play a game in 3 days, and whether we play in 3 weeks or 3 days, we need to elevate our practice habits, and that's just one of the things we cover on a daily basis.
Plan on rotating kickers again?
What's that?
Plan on rotating kickers again?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yep.
At the pre-camp luncheon, Darren used the phrase "as open as the Kansas prairie" to describe the punt return competition.
Yeah.
Have you seen any movement there?
I think these games are going to continue to help us, and we'll see how the opportunities shake out. There are several guys. Oh wait. There are several guys in the mix. We want them to have opportunities in the game. Certain guys react differently in the games. Obviously, Darren's gotten a lot of work. I've seen a lot of improvement from all those guys as training camp has gone. But the games are what matter most ultimately. And so we'll do our best to get a different look in these next 2 games at all those guys that are competing for the job. And again,
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask about Booker. Is he going to play?
yeah, yep, he's all set to play. Yep.
A Friday question here for you. So we're getting into Friday field.
Great.
You've been around the game for a while. How much have you kind of seen an emphasis on from like staff and personnel to get guys in the right headspace throughout the year? Kind of how much of that emphasis throughout the season?
You talking about just mental health in general, or?
Yeah, to make sure the guys are just mentally right.
Yeah, I think the NFL's made a lot of progress in that area with making sure that we are educating these players on where the help is available. Dr. Ganshert is one of our guys who's available. Eric Ball, in that capacity, does a great job interacting with these guys and giving them an outlet to speak. So again, that's part of building a relationship with the players, so they don't feel like they're going through something and they don't have anywhere to turn to help. And you want that to be from the coaches, but I also understand we're coaches, and sometimes they don't want to approach us in that matter. Sometimes it's got to be outside sources. And here at the Bengals, I think that we have great outlets for our players that are utilized. And I can't speak for our players. There might be guys going through that, I don't know, but we do make plenty of resources available, and I think our organizations handle that really well.
How much of an impact does that make on performance?
I'm sorry.
How much of an impact does that make on performance? Not only in good place.
I think that's human nature for all of us. My performance is not at its best if I'm not in a great headspace, and so, but that's part of being a professional. Sometimes you got to come to work and you face adversity in the building. Everyone faces adversity outside the building, but you got a job to do, and you got to find ways to do it. And sometimes that's rookies. It's finding out how to balance that, and this is your job now. And so again, that education process takes place every single day, believe it or not. And that's all I have to say on that.
Obviously, Deontay's battling for a starting job right now.
Yeah.
He can't play Friday. How much does that affect his chances? It's a tough competition.
Well, you're not going to rule somebody out just because of something that limits them for a couple days. So again, he's been making good progress. By no means has he earned a starting job, but he's certainly in the mix of the competition. We want to see him to continue to be on the mix because those young guys that show that potential, they only get better with reps. So we'll continue to work him into the mix. And disappointing, you love to see him playing the game. It's not his fault, and we'll just react. And we got plenty of practices next week and one more game to play.
If Dante can play, is he going to stick at left? He can play. Dante?
We'll see if he plays or not, and then we'll go from there. So
You seem to be, it looks like, are you going back to your veterans a little bit, the guards?
we're going to mix all those guys in. It's I'm not going to make any statements on who's going to get more reps. It's all those guys are going to get a chance to earn their playing time. So I think that's it. Yep. Thanks.
It's good. Sorry, I can't hear you, Ben.
I was going to say, what's great.
Oh, there you go.
Zach just said, you thought you had a really good couple of weeks. How these last couple of weeks going for you?
Yeah, back to my old self. Feel great. Super comfortable back there. We're getting it rolling. Still got a ways to go before the first game. Still got to get better every day, but happy with where I'm at.
So the last time you were in here, I think, you were going through some things the last time you were in here, and how would you describe the difference between, I guess I don't know what that was, whatever it was 10 days ago. How big's the difference?
10 more practices. That's it. Just getting more reps. Like I said before, no one was panicked. I wasn't panicked. just took more reps. Coming off a bad injury, haven't played for a while. Now we're back to normal, 10 practices later, so we're good to go.
How much did putting bodies around you help you feel more comfortable?
Yeah, it was, after the one day where we started changing that and doing things differently, I felt back to normal very quickly. We went out there early one day. They started throwing bags at my legs. I'm sure everyone saw it, and it was back to normal after that.
How much did you want to play on Friday?
I always want to go out there and compete, but I don't get paid to make those decisions. That's ownership and Zach, and I trust those guys to make the right decisions for us and for our team, and we'll see about the next week.
You talk to quarterbacks across the league. Some teams play their quarterbacks, some teams don't. Just how do players and quarterbacks feel themselves about the concept of playing in preseason?
Nobody really wants to play in preseason until you get on the sideline and you see everyone else playing, and then you kind of want to go out there and compete. I think that's kind of the consensus among the league, and then, it is what it is.
How much do you think that could help you mentally for playing or losing the game before you get to week one? And if you can't, how do you kind of adjust for that, getting what you need out of the season?
I think it would help. However many plays I would get, I think it would help. But, we had the same thing last year. We didn't have any preseason. We went out there and, we didn't play great game one, but we went out and executed. So we have that experience, which I think will help me if I don't get out there.
Is it something you try to lobby for, potentially, with one preseason game left after Friday? Are you going to do that?
I've been lobbying.
Okay.
I've been lobbying.
How does Joe Burrow lobby to get into the preseason?
Just saying what plays I might like against Miami. Third downs, first couple plays. I don't know. Just throw some plays out there, put it in their head. Yeah, something like that.
How did that pass you yesterday?
Felt good. He was wide open. It's just another play in practice.
Last week and then coming up Friday night, do you mentally play the game, or are you thinking, hey, I would check into this here, or are you trying to guess along with the play calls?
Yeah, I got the play calls in my ear, and I try to help those guys because, those guys want to go out there and execute and play really well. So, I think it's my job to tell them what I'm seeing, tell them how I think about plays, just give them anything that I would like from them if I was out there playing.
You've been through a lot the last 9 months. Is there anything about coming back to Washington that hit you a little differently at all?
No, just another road trip.
Joe, what did you learn about yourself through the whole process of the rehab over the last couple of months? And is it anything that you think will help you maybe mentally moving forward?
I wouldn't say I learned a lot about myself. I would say I learned a lot about the support system I had around me. I have a lot of great people, and there's a lot of great people in this league that took a lot of time to help me get back to where I'm at now and where I'm going to be here in a couple weeks. And that just made me very grateful and appreciative of those people.
You still in dark mode?
Yeah, this is the last day of camp. I'll probably get back on here later this week.
How much improvement have you seen from Jamar over the last week?
He's getting better every day. It's when you're practicing in the NFL for the first time, you have revelations every single practice, and he's had those, and he's getting better every single day. I'm excited about where he's at. He's going to make a lot of big plays for us. We're going to get him the ball in space, and he's going to score a lot of touchdowns.
It was like Noah had a chat, I think, behind one of the drills, you also were on the wrestling team. What were those conversations like? What do you all talk about how things work or just general stuff?
We have a lot of those conversations that are sometimes about plays and routes and technique, and sometimes about mindset and how practice is going. And I think those conversations are critical when you have a young guy, two young guys. I've only played 10 games too, and we're trying to figure this thing out together. And so we're going to continue to have a lot of those conversations. I think it's going to be really beneficial for us.
Do you find yourself kind of giving Jamar more opportunities in practice just to try to get that going with him? Because, T and Tyler, you kind of got that a little bit just to kind of work on that connection during practice?
Not just Jamar. I think, depending on the kind of day somebody is having, I may, feed them a little more if they're having a bad day. Try to get them out of their groove or out of their slump and get them back in their groove. That's not just unique to Jamar. That's every single guy on the receiving corps. If they're having a bad day, I might feed them a little more than usual.
I did enjoy the pinky celebration. Is that something that you and Jamar do?
Yeah, we've been doing that. We've been doing that since LSU days. That's our thing.
Okay, so that's not going away.
No.
Feeding guys, have been doing that since college, since high school?
Probably consciously just the last 2 years. I might have done it subconsciously before that.
You guys ever make you talk to somebody about kind of doing that or walking through that kind of practice?
As far as just getting comfortable in the pocket.
No, you speak guys or whatever.
Oh no, that's just something that I've noticed. Guys, they get a couple catches and now they're feeling great about themselves and they're back in the groove and playing fast and ready to go. So you just want to keep everyone's confidence up as much as you can.
With that in mind, when Jamar has a drop or two, do you say anything to him? Has that been a thing? You played with him longer than anything.
No, whenever a receiver drops the ball, I never say anything. They know they dropped it. You don't have to remind them. You just let them know you're going to come right back to them. It's the way this works.
Does he let you know when he's open and you don't throw it to him?
Yeah, of course he does. That's a good thing. You want to come off the sideline in a game and hear that, hey, this corner was inside leverage, I beat him over the top. We can come back to that, something like that. That dialogue is great and critical.
He feels like he should have gotten all the way down to the 2 in the game in Tampa. Would you agree with that assessment?
No. I mean, there wasn't a lot of room for him to go, but he's a perfectionist. He's gonna want to score every single time he touches the ball.
What was your sense of the overall of the team? For New Year, at the gate, what was your sense out of the young guys?
After the preseason game?
Yeah.
Everyone competed. Obviously, it wasn't perfect. We had a lot of turnovers, 4 or 5, something like that. That can't happen. Defense created a couple. That was exciting to see, but not near to where we need to be going into week 1. But it didn't have to be. It's the preseason. That's why you play these games.
You had a little conversation with you and Mixon had a little conversation with the offense after practice. Is that just kind of another evolution in your, as the leader of this thing?
Yeah, you always have to have some talks like that. It's camp. You come out sometimes and you're a little sluggish, and just talk to them about how you got to come out locked in every day. You want to make the most of all the practices you have. You have, I don't know how many practices you have every year, 50, 60. You just got to make the most of them.
Is that something you think maybe, like in the middle of this practice, saying, hey, I got to talk to these guys right now, right away? Or is that something you file back in your mind during the practice?
Yeah, for sure.
On Mixon, I saw a couple of times today you hit him as a receiver. How have you seen him evolve in his role as a pass catcher, knowing that that's probably going to increase for him?
Yeah, that's really exciting to see from him. He's taken that really seriously and understands that could be a big part of his game. He's going to get the ball in space with one-on-one with the defender, and that's what you ask in the run game. You can just do it in the pass game too. And he ran a really good route today that I was really excited about. So he's going to be a big part of it.
I think you said the last thing that you wanted to, I guess, the final one for you guys before the draft is to be comfortable in the pocket. I mean, even right now, that's not a question at all, and I guess that's the last thing you need to see.
Yeah, we're good to go now. After the last, I don't know, it's camp. All the days run together, but the last, 6 to 10 practices have felt really good.
How intimidating are Brian and Pitch as pass rushers against you?
I think I've played against bigger, stronger, more intimidating guys than that.
So they didn't make you nervous when they were coming at you?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Good?
Yep.
Yep.